But if you leave your name and number, we'll get back to you.
My black people, it's all about the unity. There's nothing they can do with us, so ain't nobody do with me. Like the king, we make it plain and simple. Bringing knowledge and fire at reality's temple. Reality's temple. My black people, it's all about the unity. There's nothing they can do with us, so ain't nobody move with me. Like the king, we make it plain and simple. Bringing knowledge and fire at reality's temple.
Talking about not falling into the teacher trap, not falling into the website trap. So today, what teachers can you learn from? We just told you that the Akawu tells you that we're all a great teacher at the same time. So who are you going to learn from? You're going to learn from brothers like Sa Neter. You're going to learn the positives and negatives from brothers like Sa Neter. You're going to learn the positives and negatives of people like Brother Polite. The positives and negatives of people like Sarah Seti. You're going to learn from Maurice Muhammad, Taalik Ibn'rad. You're going to learn from Nettercat. You're going to learn, you definitely going to learn from King Noble. You definitely going to learn a little something from Brother Daku. But we ain't the only teachers in the world. There are other people in your lives right now that are teaching you things that you need to know. Now, do you follow your teacher every single place and everywhere? Not necessarily. But if you got a good teacher, your teacher is going to teach you how to think, not what to think. And if you learn how to think, then you can be critical of all information. You can question anything. Your teachers ain't going to get mad. Huh? Your teacher, if he's truly your teacher, give me the question. Bring them on. If I can't answer the question, then I'm going to meditate on it, reflect on it, and try to get back with you with the answer, get back to you with the answer. But I'm also going to encourage you to think. It's important for you to think. You're not just my student, you're also my teacher. I'm not your teacher, I'm also your student. Don't fall into the teacher trap. This has been Daku Akabo Wakatu.
Nobody's being delivered from anything. God ain't doing nothing for nobody right now. And gee, I wonder why. Because these folks are making noise.
This controversy with Brother Phil Scott, the Advice Show, because he married a white woman. We want to talk about that and see if you understood of how the black man really was created. You would understand why Brother Phil and many of you others out there, whether you will admit it or not, you are attracted to the white woman. You are. I don't care how blackly black y'all talk, but you are attracted to the white woman. And I'm going to tell you why. When I was in the Nation of Islam, The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught that the sex drive is so it's so powerful that a man would lay down with a gorilla. Have any of y'all heard that teaching? I forgot exactly where I read that at, but I think it's in one of those books. It's been a long time, but I do remember that. I have to try to find it to be sure, because I'm pretty sure some of you would say, "Man, get out of here with that." That's something that you read that you don't forget. I know I read that. He said that the sex drive for a man is so powerful that you would want to have relations with a gorilla. No, I'm not interested in a gorilla. I'm sorry. No. And for many of us, no. You have to be a weak kind of guy. And that's what I'm going to talk about, y'all. Weak men. Weak men that secretly in their subconscious, they have an attraction for white women. I don't care how pro-black they are. So I'm not shocked that Phil, the advice show, would be attracted to a white woman or any other woman of light skin, and make sure she's not black. We don't want a light-skinned black woman. We want something other. There's a reason for that. But you got to be very weak. I mean, what kind of fella? I mean, how would you? If the Department of Corrections put gorillas in the prison, would those guys actually? Woo! Oh wow! Man. But I remember we was having a recent conversation, and a brother was saying, I'm not going to say who that brother is. Wink, wink, wink. But that brother said, let's get real. I don't care how black power you are, what you're talking about. But, you know, if you was put in a situation and there was this gorgeous Caucasian pink lady laying there naked, you mean to tell me you wouldn't get down? Come on now. Come on, man. Men don't have no self-control. When men see a piece of, and it's all naked, and it's still a woman, you mean you wouldn't? Let me tell y'all something. I was locked up 10 years. 5, 10. I was locked up 10 years. I did not think about a gorilla. I'm sorry. And there were Caucasian women that would come to my room wanting to do the do. And I asked them politely, you need to go somewhere else. I was locked up 10 years. And I was not interested in a Caucasian woman. Mind you, as I have said on this platform, I love womanhood. I love females. I love human females. But at the same time, the Caucasian woman, she belongs to her Caucasian man. The Indian woman, whatever she is, or the Asian woman, all these different various women, y'all belong to y'all men. I want a sister like Sister Ann. I want a sister like Sister Pamela. I want a sister like Sister Nova. Really? I'm not interested. Now, if these sisters come to my room, they might have a problem getting out. I'm going to be real, okay? They might have a problem getting out. But these other women, no, I will ask you politely. In fact, I had to throw one of these Caucasian women out of my room when I was locked up. You need to leave. Plus, on top of that, you know Caucasian women are good for screaming rape. I don't want you anyway, and you're not going to scream rape on me. Get out. It's over. So why would these men that claim to be so pro-black, why would they tell us, well, you know, we all, come on, brother, let's get real. We all men. You mean to tell me you wouldn't get off, you know, you wouldn't, you know, be with a white woman, you know, circumstance? No. I have been tried and tested. No. 10 years. No. N-O. No. The reason why you're saying that is because in your subconscious mind, you really are attracted to the Caucasian woman anyway. So this, you're making this as an excuse of why you would become so weak and just want to get down with a Caucasian. That's because you want her anyway. And it's not your fault, brother. Because, see, we were raised. Look, see, we have been raised with these people 400 years. The standard of beauty and the woman put in front of our face day in and day out is the Caucasian woman. And I know you, and I know you can holler black power, and I'm blackity black, African supremacy, wink wink, all you want to. But because we have grown up in an environment with them, we have an attraction to them. We know they have done evil things, liars, murderers, violent, deceivers, and the list goes on and on. We know that. But we have been raised with these people. Some of us went to school with these people. We go to work with these people. It reminds me, brothers, like a sister. You might consider her ugly. Oh man, she is, woo, that chick is broke. Woo, man, I can't, man, you make mockery of her, you can't deal with her. But then you are put in a situation where y'all talk all the time, you get to know her, and pretty soon she just becomes a woman. And you are able to look over these things that make her unattractive to you, and next thing you know, you done probably married this woman. And see, that's because you get to know, we live with these people for 400 years. That's why we have an attraction to them. Even though they do dirty things to us, it makes no difference because you work with them. You buy your food with them, you know, from them. They are all in your life. And you really see them as a human being, even though you said they devils and I would do this and I'll kill them. No. You don't even have the heart. You don't even have the heart. And you're not even programmed. You know what it reminds me of? RoboCop. RoboCop was made by this corporation. And they put a directive in RoboCop that RoboCop could not turn on them. Woo! The reason why we are attracted and the reason why we really won't rebel and have a revolution against them, because we were made to be their slaves. And in the programming of a slave, they put a directive in your mind, in your head: you shall not attack your massa. So no matter what they do, no matter how they make us angry, there's a directive in your head. You can only go so far. And you'll stop. And you will marry them. And you will have children with them, knowing they are your enemy. Knowing they are not right for you. But we have been programmed and we are their RoboCop. We are their made creation. This black man, this Negro, this colored, and now you call yourself an African American. But when it's all said and done, we are their NIGGER. We are their slaves. And you will only get so mad. So that's why you will make an excuse for laying down with a Caucasian woman, because inside of you there is a directive, and you really have a love and an attraction for your enemy. And you don't even understand it, because if you, there's nobody in their right mind that would love their enemy. I don't care how cute. You will never hear a woman, a Jewish woman, talk about how cute Adolf Hitler was. And she's a woman. Some Jewish women might find Adolf Hitler handsome and cute. They would never say that out of their mouth. And they have grown to hate this man because they are still in their right state of mind. Only you, bred to be a slave, only you would have the nerve to talk about, even though you so blackety black, black power, and African this and whatever, you have the nerve to talk about you want to lay down with your enemy, whether it's a Caucasian woman or a white man. It makes no difference, because we have been programmed to love them. And our hate will only go so far, because this, what we've been going through, should have been dealt with hundreds of years ago. But because there's a directive in your head, you can't really get the energy. You really can't do what you need to do in order to solve this problem once and for all. You only go so far. You only will talk and then sit your slave self down, because there's a directive in our programming. You shall not attack Massa. You shall not attack Massa. We need to learn how to respect one another, talk to one another. We need to learn how, above all, how to compromise our individual wants and needs for what is in the best interest of us as a people, and create what we call black unity. Because, brothers and sisters, without unity, I'm telling you, you don't have to like me. I don't have to like you. But there are those who don't like us. And those us are united. And that us has the power, if they want to send every one of us to a concentration camp or to a mass grave. And since most of you, or many of you, talk about y'all want to go back to Africa, they will send you to Africa. They will send you wherever. They don't care where you go, but you got to get the hell out of here. There is nothing, we as a people, because we're so divided, there's nothing those of whom are united can do. There's nothing that we could do to stop them from doing what they have decided they want to do against us. And we have been helpless victims for over 400 years. So it is important, not only for myself and Brother Muhammad, but all of us. I don't care what type of national leader you are, or how grassroots you are. All of us will be getting roots when the plants go down into the dirt and use the nourishment from our dead bodies to feed the ones that put us in the earth. This is not a joke. This is not a joke. While we are spending time exposing the advice show, there are those who are planning your and my death, your children's death, your great-grandchildren's death, making sure that this is the end of the road for us. There is no yellow brick road where we can go visit the Oz. So, we need to, as Public Enemy used to say back in the day, we need to learn how to, brothers need to learn how to work it out. Now, this does not negate the fact or the right of us to be able to critique one another. Brother Muhammad should be able to critique me, and I should be able to critique Brother Muhammad. That should not even be an issue. However, we are on the same team and we are progressing forward. Get that off your chest and keep moving for a common goal and a common purpose. So, there are those who believe I don't have the right to critique Minister Louis Farrakhan or the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Well, that's not right. I should have the right. There was a soldier who came from, I think he did tours in Afghanistan, Iraq, and he criticized the American government. And there was some who stood up and told him that he should shut up, he's not being patriotic. But the vast majority of people shut them down because this man served his country. This man was willing to give his life for his country. So he has the right to say anything he has to say about the government because he was willing to die for this nation. What you don't understand is that I am a veteran FOI. I am a veteran Fruit of Islam soldier. I was with Minister Farrakhan in the rebuilding process of the Nation of Islam when I was 18 years old and stood with him 7 strong years, a total of 9 years. Where was you in 1981? Where was you in 82, 83, 84? Where were you? I stood in front of Louis Farrakhan willing to take a bullet for him. I have the right to speak about the Nation of Islam because I soldiered. I'm a veteran. I earned the right. Willing to take a bullet. Standing in the cold selling eggs and the eggs cracking. Trying to raise money for my temple. And doing all kinds of things you don't even know nothing about. Because you wasn't there. I don't know where you was. I'm a veteran. Not only am I a veteran, but I am an elder. I'm much older than many of you are. So I should be respected as an elder, whether you like me or not. I should be respected as an FOI. Many of you are Nation of Islam believers and followers. I helped make it possible for you to be where you are right now. You should be ashamed of yourself. How do you think that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad would respond to your attacking somebody who was a veteran, a soldier, that fought for Islam, that fought for his messenger, that fought and was willing to die for Farrakhan? You should be ashamed of yourself. I want to say this to those of whom became very irate with me because of my opinion of how Minister Farrakhan treated Brother Ben. I don't like that. And this is because many of you don't know Nation of Islam protocol. This is how I was trained. As a Fruit of Islam, as an FOI, I was trained to enter the temple, and one of the first things I do is I salute the sun, moon, and star. I salute the flag. I salute the sun, moon, and star. That's what I do. Upon meeting a high-ranking officer, and Minister Louis Farrakhan is the highest rank, when I meet Minister Farrakhan, the first thing I do, brother, is stand before him and I salute my minister. And then when the minister gives me the A-OK and he reaches out his hand, we shake hands. Mind you, brother minister is standing up with me. We shake hands and we hug one another. Assalamu alaikum. That's FOI protocol. That's how I was trained. If I was trained incorrectly, let me know. I really doubt it. So, when I watched this video with Minister Farrakhan, when he greeted Brother Ben, he did say, I think he said, I love your work, or I love you, or something to that effect. But he remained seated. Brother Ben did not salute, and he could not salute because Brother Farrakhan was sitting down. If Brother Farrakhan was standing up, the FOI salute his high-ranking officer, and when you are given permission, you shake hands like I explained to you. And see, and there was no photo opportunity with Brother Ben. There was no making very clear, it's an honor to meet you, Brother Ben. But then you have Caucasian people or non-soul people like Ariana Grande. He was at the Aretha Franklin funeral for 9 hours. But he was able to stand up and hug her. Talk about it's an honor to meet you. And all these other Caucasian people. You know, I am told that Minister Farrakhan is not above critique. But when he's critiqued, then y'all have a problem. Now, there is nobody that is perfect. And some of you will say, well, Minister Farrakhan is not perfect. Then I ask you, show me, tell me what you think that he does wrong. And you become silent. Because really you don't see, you see him as a perfect person. You see that he does everything right. And that's dangerous. Now when you look at Elijah Muhammad, how many pictures of celebrities do you see Elijah Muhammad was with? How many pictures of white people, pink people, Caucasian people, how many pictures do you see Elijah Muhammad with smiling, skinning and grinning? This is a different, how many pictures of Caucasian people did you see Malcolm X with, skinning and grinning? Mr. Farrakhan, when he first stood up, he told us, I'm just your little brother, do not call me honorable. I'm just your little brother trying to bring back the original teachings. Brother Farrakhan did not stay true to his word. He began to change. He changed the teachings. He brought in Dianetics. He started lollygagging and making friends with Caucasian people. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that a Caucasian person cannot be considered your brother or your friend until they have studied under Islam for 25 years. Now correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I remember. For 25 years. These people of whom Farrakhan, Brother Farrakhan is embracing have not studied Islam. They are not even, many of them are not even religious. But they are famous. They're celebrities. And I don't like that, and you should not like that either. And then Brother Farrakhan has been working for 40 years. Has had maybe $1 billion pass through his hands. And you talk about a little farm and a little grocery store. You should have more accomplished if you have had $1 billion pass. I have a right to be upset. Because I was willing to give my life so this man could do better. And I don't see it. What about a soldier of the United States government willing to give your life, but your government is in shambles? What are the politicians doing? What are you doing to my country that I was willing to die for? I don't have a right to speak. How many of you are really willing to give your life? Not only for Brother Farrakhan, but to the struggle period. That's why you're on YouTube. Running your mouth. It's easy to run your mouth. It's another thing actually challenging the enemy. Look, I come from the same place y'all come from. Many of you were Christians and you believed in Jesus Christ, the white one, the pink one, the Caucasian Jesus Christ. You believed in Jesus Christ. And then you were introduced to Moorish Science Temple teachings, the Nation of Islam, and so many that's available today. After you were Christians, many of us, we did not grow up in Muslim households or Moorish households or something to that effect. We were taught all these black conscious, as you say, teachings. And one thing that we find in common with many or much of these teachings, they teach us and try to give us history, whereas it can build or give us high self-esteem, because we are a people that suffer from low self-esteem coming from a slave background, our ancestors, coming from an inferior background due to our ancestry. So these teachings teach us that we are God, goddesses, kings and queens, the first ones who created civilization and so forth. All these feel-good teachings. And that is nice if it was real. But just like we accepted Christianity on face value, we did not really we really didn't question Christianity. We do not really question these ideas and this philosophy and these teachings that was given to us. So one of the things that we've been taught is that at one time, prior to the white man, this black man was holier than thou and righteous. Now, as I explained in an earlier video, according to the teachings of the Nation of Islam, the tribe of Shabazz, they found or believed that the Caucasian people among them were troublemakers, and they rounded up all these persons without a trial, just based on allegations, accusations, because they believed that this particular group of people were troublemakers. They rounded them up, took their clothes off, marched them naked across the desert. Many of them died, to what we know of as Europe. Now, does that sound like a holy and righteous people that would do somebody like that? Even if they were guilty of being troublemakers, spreading gossip and slander or whatever, I don't believe they were accused of murder or anything of that. They were just accused of, causing people to maybe commit murder. They was stuff like that. They was spreading gossip and slander or whatever. But does that sound like a righteous people that would strip somebody naked and march them across the desert? Then you wonder of why, when these people come into power, why they hate your guts, why they don't like people with dark skin, because those were the people that marched them naked across a desert and caused them to evolve into a beast-like state. And you wonder why they hate dark-skinned people, according to that teaching. But see, when we are first introduced to that teaching, we're not thinking like that. Now, I have a little sister that called me all the time, and she got very angry at me because she believes that dark-skinned people are holy and righteous and have always been that way. I don't see that. It's a nice story. It's nice to believe, but I don't see the evidence, because based on her behavior, she's a very arrogant, uppity, foul mouth. But you holy and righteous? If you look at us today, if we are peaceful, the Nation of Islam teach that Islam is natural to the black man. If it's natural to you, then why are you so nasty and foul-mouthed, murderous, love slander, love beefing, love violence? You just like your massa. You just like the Caucasian people. You just like them. But your nature, if something is your nature, as an individual, you have people who just don't do certain things because it's their nature. It's just their nature. You can't get them to smoke. You can't get them to drink because they're not interested. It's just their nature. They just reject those things. They just docile. No matter how you talk about them, no matter what you do, they just like, okay. Why are you so mean? I don't understand. Because it's just their nature. They just don't have a violent nature. They're just not profane. They're just nasty. They're just not nasty. Because that's their individual nature. So you're telling me that you have a people who are holy and righteous by nature. But at the same time, all of you, many of you, are students of history, and there is no recorded history that we know of that can verify and support your claims. Prior to the Caucasian people coming to Africa or any of these islands, dark-skinned people were having wars, exploiting women and children, doing all kinds of things. And if you are the original man, been on this planet for so long, common sense tells us that you were the original liar, you were the original thief, you were the original adulterer, you were the original woman beater, child molester. You had time to do all that originally. But you don't want to talk about that. But recorded history does not show us, or dark-skinned people. Now look, when we talk about black people, there were no people called black or Negro or colored or even African prior to races. All these are racist labels or definitions. There were no people called that until chattel slavery in America created a brand new people from the enslaved. The enslaved coming from Africa or the islands or wherever they were able to get a slave, mixed them together, and generations after created a brand new people, and the races named these people black, named this new people Negro, colored. And we were never holy and righteous. We were created due to evil. And there's nothing holy and righteous about evil. And we were trained and bred to be the world's most perfect slave, and we still have a slave mentality. I don't care how black power, what you think that you are. This is the reason why you must serve somebody. Umar Johnson becomes your God. Louis Farrakhan becomes your God. Jesus is your God. Allah, Muhammad is your. You got to find something. Even if it's a head of lettuce. You got to find something to worship and serve, because our people were produced by chattel slavery to be a servant. But you have grown not to like the white man. I got to do something about that. You have grown not to like the white man, so you feel better worshiping black Jesus. Some black kind of God. But you're still a servant, you're still a slave. Your condition has not changed. There is nowhere in history, and I've read many books, many of you, contrary to popular belief, I have read books. I have not read any history except a make-believe history. The Nation of Islam teaches that we were holy and righteous. History goes back 666 trillion years ago. There's no evidence. You have no history from 666 trillion years ago. Most scientists agree that this planet is not even that old, only in a few billion. So where is this history? Where is this evidence of this utopia that y'all foaming at the mouth about? It does not exist. It's make-believe rhetoric. Just like the same way we was given Jesus to make us feel good, to make us have hope in something that would never happen. All these black conscious type teachings, it's the same thing. Feel good rhetoric to make you feel good. Our ancestors were slaves. Our beginning was slavery. You had nothing to do with pyramids or civilization or none of this stuff. Feel good rhetoric. The so-called Negro, the black man, did not even exist. You did not even exist. In order to make those claims, you must show your connection and your contribution to that history. Not just because you black, because you have dark skin. Mind you, many of you don't even have melanated skin like that. You call yourself black, but some of y'all are almost as light as Caucasian people are. So how can you make such a claim? It is feel-good rhetoric. I know. You're angry, mad, upset. I'm sorry. Truth hurts. I know truth hurts. But that's just there's nothing I can do about it. If you can prove, which you can't, you cannot prove that dark-skinned people in Africa or the islands or wherever on the earth, at one time, they were holier than thou, that there was some type of utopia. You cannot show no evidence. And based on your behavior today, even the way that you respond to my words right now, you exhibit nasty, foul, degenerate type behavior. So, based on your behavior right now, we know it is impossible for our people, dark-skinned people, to live in some type of utopia. If they live in a utopia, then why were they divided? Why weren't they together living as a happy family? But you have this tribe over here, this tribe over there, everybody all divided, some of them going to war with one another, but there was some type of utopia, but the whole earth is divided due to tribalism. Everybody is in their own little clique, in their own little families. But in a utopia, you would think everybody is holy and righteous and good to everybody. Then they should all be living together under one umbrella. This is not the case. It's not real. It's fantasy. It's fiction. And I cannot allow somebody to come to me and get away, and I'll allow them to make them believe that I believe that dark-skinned people are holy and righteous and we live in some type of utopia millions and trillions of years ago. You nasty mouth, foul, arrogant, and some other words right now. Sleeping, but for some reason, I don't know, I did get sufficient rest, and it's very early in the morning, and I'm wide awake, and since I'm awake, I had one more subject that I wanted to speak with us about from last night, so I decided, why not talk about it? Still a little sleepy, still a little fuzzy in the mind, but I think I can pull this off. I also do not want to disturb my neighbors, so I have to be sort of very quiet with making video. All right, look. The brief topic that we've chosen for early this morning, which, by the way, no matter how we disagree, no matter those things, I still, because of the influence of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in my life, this is his birth anniversary. October the 7th is the birth anniversary of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So, of course, on this early morning, I have no choice. I have to give credit where credit is due. If not for the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I truly doubt I would be who I am. I truly doubt I would even be here. I don't know what I would be doing. You know, things like that just change your life. So I have to give respect and honor to my elder, of whom meant so much and done so much for me as a child. As you grow older, of course, you and your parents may not see eye to eye, but that does not mean you don't love them. It does not mean you disrespect them. Your scriptures always say, give respect, not be a slave. Give respect to your parents. Now, look, speaking of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he was a man that represented a religion called Islam. And many of us grew up in the Christian church. Many of us have been influenced by religious rhetoric, religious teachings, religious dogma. And if you notice in religious teachings or dogma or these belief systems that we embrace, I find, and I have noticed or observed, that it makes us very self-righteous. We get a feeling because I'm a Muslim, I'm better than a Christian or the average person on the street. I am just better. It's not something that many of us seek to do, but because of that teaching, because we believe we have gained some type of superior connection or favorite connection with the Creator, we begin to become pompous. And we talk about these rules and regulations of God, and we believe that we are better. You will see this in all religious belief systems, and including Christianity. You have Christians who believe they are better and no more, smarter than anybody else. If you don't believe in Jesus, because Jesus is the way, Jesus is the door, then they tell you that you are going to go to hell. They already determined they are judge, jury, and executioner. You don't believe in Jesus. I don't care how right you think that you are. I don't care if you smoke, you don't drink, you don't fornicate. You obey all the laws of God. But if you don't say Jesus, then you're going to hell. Which, I don't know if the Christian is going to go to heaven, because according to those teachings, we all was born in sin. So if we all were born in sin, that means we have already, even before we came into existence, we have violated the rules and the laws of this God, and it's all downhill from there. Nobody can reach that plateau. Nobody can reach that height and qualify to go to heaven. So as the Christian person judge, as the Muslim judges, as these who are influenced by religion judges others, when you really look at the whole scheme of things, you're not going to go to heaven and you're not going to see the hereafter just like anybody else on the street. Especially if you have points against you because you were born in sin. One of the most favorite sins, as they say in religious teachings, one of the most favorite sins that religious folks direct their hatred towards is this behavior of homosexuality. Homosexuality is a sin. God hates homosexuals. However, there is hypocrisy because many of these people who attack and don't like homosexual behavior, and that's your business, but when you go to their bedrooms, they are doing the same thing that the homosexuals are doing. The same thing. So what makes you different? Well, I'm doing my sodomy because that's the reason of why God is supposed to be so upset with homosexual persons, gay, lesbian persons, because they commit what is called sodomy. But when you go to the bedrooms of religious people, they are doing the same thing. There is only one sexual intercourse, and that is between the penis and the vagina. These are the only sexual organs. When you talk about putting something in your mouth or your anus or whatever, that is called sodomy. Sodomy. When you talk about licking people's genitalia and all that type of thing, that's sodomy. So all of you are committing sodomy. That is not sex. There's only one sex between the two sexual organs, the penis and the vagina. Sexual intercourse. The penis intercourses temporarily with the vagina. That's the only sex. It's called sexual intercourse. You cannot intercourse your mouth or your tongue or whatever that y'all freaky things be doing, or a piece of plastic that y'all use. This is sodomy. And this is the reason why your God is supposed to be so upset with homosexuals, because of sodomy. This shows hypocrisy. Even so, there are many sins. There are many detrimental behaviors. You should not get drunk. You should not be smoking weed, because that is poisoning and tainting the body. You should not lie. You should not fornicate. You should not commit adultery. The list goes on and on. But there is an emphasis on homosexual behavior, and we become self-righteous, and we direct our attention to homosexual behavior because we don't want the attention on us, because when it's all said and done, we are lovers of sin. But the self-righteous, in order to feel better than anybody, because you are not perfect, you do not fit the criteria in order to go to heaven. You don't fit the criteria to go to the hereafter. So you need to, in order to feel good about yourself, religious people have directed their attention to this one particular sin, the sin of homosexuality. However, if we were just, if we were fair, and we direct our attention to all sin, nobody would be in the church. Nobody would be in the mosque or the synagogue. Because even in the scriptures it says that your righteousness is as rags in the eyes of God. He who is without sin cast the first stone. But you do it every day because we're self-righteous. If we want to condemn and we want to talk about sin, if we want to talk about detrimental behavior, then if you are a fair and just person, then you need to draw attention to all of it. But if you notice with the self-righteous people, they never talk about the sin. They never talk about their own detrimental behaviors. They never talk about that. Because they want distraction from their personal self onto others. That is not fair. And that is an arrogant thing to do. And an unjust thing to do. But this is what you expect from the self-righteous person. So when your own self-righteousness, your own sins, your own detrimental behaviors are pointed out, all of a sudden there's a problem. But there is no problem pointing towards homosexuals and gays or others that you believe commit these sins or detrimental behaviors, because you want to feel better, smarter. You want to feel closer to some God. The self-righteous Negro. So that makes you a fraud. That makes you a fake. And how long you think, and what can you produce with this type of mindset or mentality? Oh, the homosexuals need to stop being gay and lesbian, but you're not going to stop being a liar or a fornicator or an adulterer or a murderer or a slanderer, gossip spreader, molest your children, beating your wife, a thief, and the list goes on and on. God or the righteous is supposed to be against all sin, all detrimental behavior. This God, I question, why would God just direct attention to homosexuals, gays, and lesbians? I'm going to destroy the city because of homosexual behavior. Well, why don't God destroy the city of those who are adulterers, fornicators, drunks, crackheads, rapists, and the list goes on and on? Because if you destroyed everybody, God, you won't have nobody left. Nobody won't be in the church. Nobody won't be in the mosque. Nobody won't be in the synagogue. So why don't we stop all this silly self-righteous behavior and help one another become better? Help everybody to strive to be the best human being they can become. And let us stop being so uppity and so self-righteous. Not righteous because God determined that you're righteous, but righteous because it's self-proclaimed.